A lot of the paintings here, there are some that up here I've tried to create a little wall of ladies. There's one of Hepburn, one quickly. This was the most fun for me was Alfred Drake, who'd been a very, very big star in Kiss Me Kate and the original Oklahoma. And I had never seen Kiss Me Kate. It was written for him by Cole Porter. Alfred was then 64, and I had to make him as he was at 34. We had the stage books, but I couldn't get the costumes anywhere. We tried Brooks, the costume people, not the clothingers. And I improvised from the book. I took a curtain I had, and I glued on metal pieces here, and I borrowed a scimitar from up there and put just what was in the book, but the costume. And what he did for me, this is something you would never forget. I had never seen him on this hit, Kiss Me Kate. He was on Broadway. Oh, Kismet, excuse me. He'd done Kiss Me Kate, too. This was Kismet. But when I was painting him and he was posing, he actually described he went through the whole thing with me. And at one point, and I want to give you this story because it's got something to do with likeness. Because as you know, those of you who know me, I don't care about likeness. Get a feeling of the person. It's going to feel like them. It's going to look like them. When I was painting Alfred, he began to then describe that Hodge, the character he was playing, was a con man. He was a charmer. He'd do this to you and we wanted to be lifting your wallet with the other. Now, when he came to see the portrait, this was a lesson I hope I never forgot. He was very positive. I had a good time with him. We became friends, and he was great to work with. I mean, he was singing the parts with me, and the portrait just took a life of its own. So he came to see the final, and he was very complimentary. He was very different than Dennis. I mean, he was a tough working actor, Italian kid from Brooklyn, Alfredo Capurro, changed his name to Alfred Drake. And I remember he told me when I was painting Katharine Hepburn, he said, I told him what a hard time I was having with her. And he said, well, you know, I directed Kate in Taming of the Shrew up in Connecticut. And he said she was impossible. He said one day, we had a confrontation, and she pointed her finger at me. Alfred told me this, and he said, you know your problem, Alfred? You're used to working with leading ladies. And he said, I turned to her and said, no, Kate, my problem is I'm used to working with ladies. And she exploded. She exploded, walked off. But I said, what happened? He said, the next morning she was back on the stage as if nothing ever happened. That's the way she was. Well, Alfred said something, and this is the point of my story, and it was a very good lesson for me. He was very complimentary, and that always helps if a person starts with a positive thing, rather than, there's my own reading of this, and please, all my ex-wives were women, my daughters are girls, my grandchildren are girls. Women have a tendency to seize the one thing that's wrong to the exclusion of the total. A man will see the total and then say, I like it, but what about the hand? Not every woman nor every man, but as a generality, a woman will go for the vitals and fit you right in the cojones. And a man will take it generally and then work his way through. So this makes a great deal of difference because I've had people be very critical and I found it very helpful. Where other people would just pick at some little something and it would just drive me crazy. And I said, well, yes, I know that. What about, oh, that's fine, but what about, so, well, Alfred looked at the painting, and he said, he was very complimentary, which pleased me, and everything. He said, there's only one thing, Rain, it's not your fault. He said, I am 64 years old, and my eyes have become rather hooded. And he said, the part in the play, and this got to do with what I feel is something that's very important for me with everything I paint, everybody I paint. I'm not trying to psychoanalyze them, that would be pretentious, but I do try to get a point of view about them, and that takes me a while, if I can do it. And he said, the character I play in this role is a con man. He's looking at you and, God, he's so gorgeous. Meanwhile, he's lifting everything out of your purse, right? Now, he said, the character of Iago in Othello, he is evil. And he said, what you're getting with the hooded eyes is a little bit of the Iago and not enough of the Hodge, but I don't know what you can, don't touch it. By raising the eyebrow, putting a little light in the eye, it made it a little bit of a smirk, a little bit of a mischievous look, instead of a more sinister. It's very subtle, but it really made a difference, and it changed the whole attitude of the portrait, in my opinion. By the way, the only other one I want to mention was I painted, I told you this last night, and this is meant very good-naturedly, Jason Robards, who was well known for his Eugene O'Neill, and I'm painting Chris Plummer now as King Lear, and as I told you last night, they are the best of friends, heavy drinking companions for 40 years, and as Chris was walking through with me, he was, oh, I love that. It's just, oh God, it's just, you got Jason the way he was. but mine will be a little larger, won't it? This was a very sad one. Bob Lansing was president, and they found he had prostate cancer, and he went very quickly. And so I had started this initially as a sketch, and I just basically finished it up. And then Jose Ferrer, this was an obvious choice for me. Joe Ferrer was president of Players, but his role he won the Academy Award for, and also the Emmy on Broadway, was Cyrano. And someone looked at it and said, "Why is he picking his nose?" They looked at that and said, "Why is he sucking his thumb?" Oh well.
What are you going to YouTube?